All right, here we go with reflections and translations. So today you are going to be able to map images based on reflective and translation directives. You'll see what I mean here, okay? Excuse me. So first off, let's start off with what's a transformation. Transformations is what this unit is going to be talking about. And with each transformation, you have an original figure that's called your pre-image. Okay? An operation that maps an original figure called the pre-image onto a new figure, which is called the image. All right, so keep in mind that the original is called the pre-image and the new one is called the image. Okay, a transformation can change the size, the position, and the orientation, I guess I should say. Now, keep in mind the last one we're going to really worry about is the size one. So most of these will be changing position or orientation of figure. Okay, so what is a reflection? A reflection is a flip, that's one way to put it, over a line called the line of reflection. Wow, that's like deep, right? Ooh, that's mind-blowing. Each point and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. Okay, so keep in mind that that's telling you that they can be flipped over. This point from here to here is the same distance. Now, keep in mind, this one right here would be the pre-image. This one right here with the little marks on them, those would be the images. And we'll talk about what those are called later. But I mean, like ABC versus A prime, B prime, C prime. Anyways, possible lines of let's try that again. X-axis, the Y-axis. Those are your most common ones, guys. Those are the ones that we're going to see most often. Vertical lines in the form of X equals a number, or horizontal lines in the form of Y equals a number. Remember, this one will be vertical, this one will be horizontal. And diagonal lines in the form of Y equals X, or Y equals negative X. Okay, and each one of these has a certain pattern, and you can kind of see how that goes. But there you go, you get the idea. So let's look at some examples. I'm going to try to go through a lot of examples, but I'm only going to do kind of one of each type. But again, hopefully you'll see some patterns here. Okay, so let's start off with, and try to make it larger for y'all. Let's start off with this one, number one, triangle ABC with vertices -4, 2, 4, 7, and 5, 1 in the x-axis. So let me go ahead and draw that out. Okay, so here is A, B, and C graphed out. And then I want to do the reflection. Now, the easy way, I mean, obviously there's easy ways. You'll see these, and there are some things that you'll be able to notice. But what I do is, okay, so they're telling me about the x-axis. So the x-axis, I'm going to do that in a different color, so that way you can kind of see. Let's go with a purple here. This right here, that's my x-axis, right? So I'm going to flip about that line. So now I'm going to say, make a new image that will be flipped over that line. So A is 2 spots away. 1, 2, away. So I'm going to move 2 over here, and that will become A prime. Okay, and I'll get that coordinate in a minute. B is 7 away if you go straight, because you're trying to go straight to the line as much as possible. So 7 away, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that should be B prime right there. Yeah, I drew that so well, I know. And C is just 1 away from the line, so it's right here, C prime, and make your lines as best as possible, and you've got your new coordinates, which in this case would be -4, -2, that's A prime. This little thing right here is called a prime, or we say prime, because if we make a double change, we'll say double prime, A double prime, or something like that. 4, -7, and 5, -1. Okay, so notice what changed from these answers versus the originals. Okay? Now, you might see a pattern with that, and that's flipping it over the x-axis. That's something I would probably make into a note card or something like that. Okay, so for this next one, we are going to say do this about the y-axis, and I've already drawn the triangle for you. So this time I'm going to do this about the y-axis, this one right here. Okay, and I like to draw out the line or know which line I'm using for my reflection, so that way I can think about it. And like I said, what I do is I go straight to it. So like here, like this, I'm going to go like that straight to it. So P is 1 away, so there would be P prime. Okay, Q is 2 away, so I'm going to go 2 to the other side and put Q prime. R is 8 away, so I'm going to go 8 across. Notice how they're also still even and have R prime. And then S is 7 away, so I'm going to go 7 across and here have S prime. Connect those, and you've got your answer. Now, what are those coordinates? That would be -1, 2, -2, 5, -8, 3, and -7, 0. And again, if you look, you'll probably notice there's a slight change between the original coordinates and the new coordinates, the image coordinates. And also, take a note of how, for the x-axis, what changed, when I flipped it about the y-axis, what changed. So I skipped over to number 5. Y'all can do number 3 and 4 on y'all's own, hopefully, should be. And let's look at this. So this one says we want to flip this triangle about x equals 4. Now keep in mind, x equals 4, x is equals the number is a vertical line. So here's 4 right here, right? And so I'm going to make a vertical line. I mean, I could make that solid, I could make it broken, I don't care. But the point is, now I'm going to flip this over. So when I do my new coordinates, I can look at this and go, all right, J is going straight across because I want to go straight to that point. So that's 3 away, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 over. Okay, draw the dot. K is 2 away, so I'm going to go 2 over. L is 1 away, so I'm going to go L 1 over. And so now here I have J prime, K prime, and L prime. And those new coordinates are going to be 7, -1, 6, 3, and 5, -2. So this one's a little bit harder to say, get a pattern and say, oh, I can easily figure this out without even drawing it. But you can figure it out if you just look at the distance and kind of add some points there, and you'll see what you might be able to figure something out there. But again, compare and notice what did change, what didn't. All right, so for this next example, we have C, D, E, F, and we want to say translate, reflect, I don't know why I said translate, reflect over the line y equals 2. So y equals 2 is this line right here. Remember, y equals is a horizontal line. So you need to make sure you remember that when you say this one's horizontal. Okay, so now I want to say flip it over. And again, same idea. When you've got a horizontal line, you want to go up or down, like you want to flip over or above. A vertical line, left or right. Okay, so here I'm going to go straight up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go 6 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there is C prime. Okay, D prime is 2 away, so 2 away here, D prime. E prime is 1 away, so E is 1 away, so E prime would be 1 away. And then F prime is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is F prime. So you get something like this. And your new coordinates should be -4, 8, -2, 4, 6, 3, 4, 7. And there you go. Personally, I think this is a lot easier with graphing. But again, there is algebraic ways that you could probably figure this out. So let's look at the next parts. So the next part is the one that some people find most difficult, I guess you could say, and that's the y equals x. Now y equals x, it is a diagonal line. Okay, it goes basically corner to corner, kind of like that. Okay, and the way I do that is you don't try to go like say straight up, straight across, or straight down, like anything like that. You go diagonally to the thing. So I like go corner to corner. So this one goes corner to corner like this. I'm going to go corner to corner like this. And what I mean by that is this. Okay, if you look at x, start here at that corner and go 1.5. So half and 1. So there's x prime. Okay. Z is easy. It's 1. So I go 1. There's z prime. Okay. Y is a little bit more difficult, but 1, 2, 3.5, half, 1, 2, 3. And that's how I did those. So I would get this right here. And that would be my new image, which is -2, -5, 4, -3, and 1, -1. And yes, there is a pattern between this and this. Notice what happened, how the x and y shifted. So that would probably make things, that would be the pattern there. But that's how I would do it when I'm drawing it, is like try to go diagonally across. And yes, that might mean you might have a half, but that's about it. All right, so now let's look at the idea of y equals -x. So here's y equals -x. It is a diagonal line that goes from the opposite, the upper left-hand corner to the lower right-hand corner. And again, I do the same thing. Here, 1 to that, so I go 1 over here. That's a prime. Here, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, B prime. Okay, C 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't do that. Okay. Okay, and D is 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so here's C prime, here's D prime. Connect my dots, and there is my new square, which in this case is going to be -3, 1, -6, 0, -5, -3, -2, -2. Notice again how these numbers not only are, say, switched, but the signs were also changed. So that would be maybe a shortcut to that. So again, look for patterns, maybe write down those patterns, and that might help you do some of these problems, especially if you're a little confused with accounting. Next, let's look at translation. Do want y'all to remember, though, kind of remember this, like y equals a number, that's a horizontal line. X equals a number is a vertical line. Y equals X is a diagonal line. Y equals -x is another diagonal line. And look for patterns. And write those patterns down. That might make things easier. Okay? So a translation is to vertically or horizontally slide a figure. So all you're doing is moving it in a certain direction, but you're not changing its orientation. Reflections, we kind of flip things around, but here we're just moving things. Okay, symbolic form, if I say that the original figure, the pre-image, was x comma y, then the translation is x plus h and y plus k. Okay, basically I'm going to be adding some numbers here, h and k. H represents the horizontal shift, and K represents the vertical shift. Shift. All right, there we go. Okay, so now let's look at this. This is pretty easy. I don't even need to do too many examples, but like, so say you see here, and what they tell you is we're going to take this rectangle, and I'll draw it out, and we're going to shift it basically y plus x plus 5, y plus 7. Now, the nice part about that is all you got to do is add 5 to all the x's and add 7 to all the y's, and you would actually have the image without having to necessarily graph it. What I mean by that is if I say -6 plus 5, I get -1. -3 plus 5 is 2. 1 plus 5 is 6, and then -2 plus 5 is 3. So all I did was add 5 to each of those. Okay, if I add negative 1 plus 7, I get 6. 1 plus 7 is 8. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. And then negative 7 plus 7 is 0. So let's look at those, and you're going to see how those are graphed. So I decided to go ahead and just show you the drawings completed. So you can see here how like Q is in this location, then there's Q prime, and all I did was add 5 and then add 7. So it's really no different than that. And keep in mind, yes, they can kind of almost overlap a little bit, but all you're doing is moving one from the other. And if you just add or subtract these numbers to each of the coordinates, you should have your answer. One thing I would note is that notice that when I added, I moved to the right, and added to the y, I moved up. So like if you see this one right here, this one is going to move to the left, and then it's going to move it up. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind, that you should be kind of visualizing that before you see it. Like this one right here, it's going to move it to the right, but then it's going to also move it down. Okay, so you kind of get an idea of what you should be looking for. I figured those should be easy, so let's see if we can write a rule. Okay, a rule is basically like saying here x comma y, x, and I'm going to say y like that. I'm going to leave room, but what am I doing? Okay, so let's see here. For x, I have to go figure out how much I moved, say from here to here, and then like how much did I move up? So basically I moved across, and then I moved up. Okay, so how many did I move across? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I moved to the right 7, since I was moving to the right. Remember, to the right is a plus, to the left is a minus. If I go up, I'm adding. If I go down, I'm subtracting. So here then I went 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So there's your rule. Add 7 and add 4. Okay, so if you go to the left or to the right, and again, make sure you're going from the original image to, from the pre-image to the image. So you're going from the one without the little hash marks or little quotation mark to the other one. So there you go. And that should be that. And kind of go from there. Okay, this next portion is more for my pre-AP class, but hey, even those of y'all in the CP class, y'all could go for this one and try to do this. So let's first look at this. This one has both reflection and translation, and notice that the order, they want you to reflect first and then translate. You could ask you to translate and then reflect, so kind of keep that in mind, and we'll get there. So let's look at this first. Okay, so here's what they want you to do. They want you to first reflect this one about the x-axis. So again, that means I'm going to take this and I'm going to have this line right here and reflect it over that. So when I do that, I would have something that looks like, say, this, and I'm going to do it with this yellow. Let's see here. This was here. I was off on my dot. So here, that would be y prime, or the next one. So this is my reflection only. 1, 2, 1, 2, there's z, and then x would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this should be the reflected image. I'm just going to make it like this. And now I need to translate that, add 9 and 2 to that. So I'm going to basically be moving this one to the right 9 and then up 2. And again, there's probably a way I could have done this a little bit easier, but since I've got the graph for me in front of me, I'm going to go ahead and count that out. So let's switch back to red. So let's do 9. Okay, 9 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one would be y prime. 9, oops, sorry, I forgot to add the 2. I forgot to add the 2. Let's try that again. Doot, doot, doot. Okay, so that was where I ended up with 9, but then I need to go up 2, so 1, 2. There's y prime. I was like, oops. Okay. Z 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up 1, 2. Should be right there. Again, this is really just more of a matter of how you can, how you want to go about trying to make sure you're most accurate. So anyways, you should have ended up with 6, -5, 7, 1, and 4, 0. Okay, so that covers that. Wanted to make sure y'all saw some of those. As far as the assignments go, I'm not going to even worry about that one. Okay, so as far as the assignments go, for sure finish out the pages. So let's look at this. Okay, for my CP classes, I want y'all to do basically on the first couple of pages 1 through 12, and then on the last set of pages you can skip page 3 completely, and then on the last set of pages 1 through 8, and then 1 through 6. So I'm not making you do any double transformations, although I probably should. And if you like to try to do some, go for it. And again, guys, if y'all have questions, let me know. If you feel like you need me to do another couple of examples, let me know, and I'll make another short video doing a couple more examples, but more specific to the ones that you're asking for. And we'll kind of go from there. Pre-P, I want you to do them all. I think you can do them all. Go for it. I think there's several kids in basically in any class. I think any kid can be able to do them all. But also time constraints and stuff like that. I'm trying to be considerate. But let's go with that and let's try to do that. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for your time. Y'all take care and y'all have a good day. Be safe and just do well. Thank you. Y'all take care.